With Walmart's college fines, you can make the influence real.
All this for your 40 followers?
Manifesting 4 mil. Now let me put you on this MacBook Neo.
Walmart? Who knew?
Shh! Going live.
I gave my wedding speech in my mother's language instead of English. My father-in-law walked out. My husband translated every word. My mother speaks Tagalog. She's spoken it her entire life. She spoke it to me every night before bed. Spoke it while she braided my hair. Spoke it while she cleaned houses for other families so I could go to a school where nobody else spoke it. I grew up bilingual, but Tagalog was the language of home, of softness, of the version of me that existed before I learned to code switch in kindergarten. My father-in-law Garrett has a problem with it. He'd never say, "I don't want you speaking that language." He says, "It's just polite to speak English when everyone's around." He said once at a dinner where my mother was visiting, "I just think it's rude when people speak a language others can't understand." My mother had been telling me she liked the salad dressing. The first Thanksgiving with Bowen's family, Garrett asked me to say something in Tagalog, like a trick, like a parrot. His sister laughed and said, "Oh, do it. It sounds so cute." Over 3 years, he made my language into evidence. Evidence I was hiding something, refusing to assimilate into whatever he thought I should become. He told Bowen once, he worried about what language I'd speak to our kids. When we planned the wedding, I told Bowen I wanted to give my speech in Tagalog. He said, "Of course." I said, "Your dad is going to lose it." He said, "It's your speech, your language, our wedding." I wrote it in Tagalog first, then translated it for the printed programs, so every guest had both versions. My mother helped with phrasing. I'd forgotten. She sat at my kitchen table circling words. And when we finished, she held the paper against her chest and closed her eyes, and I knew she was thinking about every house she'd cleaned, so I could stand in a room and say these words out loud. The reception, 200 guests. I stood up and said, "I'm giving this speech in Tagalog. The translation is in your program." I spoke directly to Bowen. I told him I loved him in the language I first learned love in. I told him about my mother carrying this language across the Pacific and planting it in me. I told him I wanted our children to hear it first, not because English wasn't enough, but because Tagalog was where I kept the softest parts of myself, and I wanted our kids to know where to find them. 2 minutes in, Garrett stood up, set his napkin down, pushed his chair back, walked out the side door. His wife Luann watched him go and stayed. The room noticed. I kept speaking. I finished looking at Bowen, and he was crying in that way where he was trying not to and completely failing. Then he stood up, took the microphone, and said, "For those who couldn't follow that, I'd like to translate." And Bowen repeated my entire speech in English. Not from the program, from memory. He'd memorized it. Asked my mother to help him practice without telling me. Spent weeks matching English words to Tagalog phrases so he could deliver it with the right rhythm. He translated the part about my mother and his voice cracked. He translated the part about our children and had to press his hand against his eyes. When he finished, everyone stood up. Not politely, loudly. My mother was at the front table crying with both hands over her mouth. Luann was standing and clapping. Garrett's chair was empty. After the toast, my mother walked to Bowen and put both hands on his face. She said something in Tagalog. He understood it. He answered in Tagalog. The pronunciation was rough, but the words were right. She hugged him so hard he laughed. Garrett came back 20 minutes later. Bowen walked over and said, "You missed it. I heard enough. You heard a language you don't understand. You missed what it meant. She's teaching me. I'm learning. You could too." That's how inclusion works. It's not making someone else stop. It's you starting.